So in the previous session we complete this part without database. Now I'm going to introduce database in our application. Database, we can use two kind of database, either traditional database like MySQL, Oracle. These are databases which stores data permanently. But sometimes we need databases for learning and testing purpose. For this, we have in-memory database that is called H2. Let me show you on the internet. H2 database. H2 is a relational database management system written in Java. It can be embedded in Java applications. Okay, so let's start and I will show you how to use H2 database in a Spring. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create same application, Control C, Control V, REST API demo with DB with H2 H2 database. Okay, let me
I
copy
think
this.
you can use SQL.
Yeah, I will use also. Yes.
Because everyone right now use SQL, so I think it's easy for everyone.
SQL means MySQL.
Yes.
Yes, I will show you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. I will do one by one. Without database, with H2 database, with MySQL database, everything I will cover. Don't worry. So now we have exactly same application as we created yesterday or last session with new name. Exactly same name. But we have to change name in the POM file. Here, yes. Now name is this. Okay, wow. Control Shift F to press name again. Yeah, here. Now I'm done. But I'm telling you I'm going to use database JPA. So what things I have to add? Two new capabilities, two new dependencies, that is JPA and H2. So how I can use it? So Spring Initializer. Come here. Don't go here and there. Directly come here and type JPA. So persist data in SQL store with this, lots of things. Okay, and again I want to use which database? H2 database. These two dependencies I needed. Okay, but here I can generate a new project. But I don't want to generate new project, but I want to use these two dependencies in my current application. So what I will do, I will explore it. Sorry, I have to choose memo. Now I will use again explore. Okay, and don't need to do anything, just copy these two dependencies. Dependency this and dependency this. Just copy, Control C, come to your POM file, under the dependencies section, under the dependency section. You can paste anywhere. So my habit is I will paste in the last. Now it will try to download jar related to H2 and JPA. Wow. And as we are using Spring Boot, so it will configure lots of things. So I will show you one by one how we can proceed. Okay, don't worry. Uh, Let me run this application. Let me run. Means I just added these two dependencies, nothing else. Okay. I want to run this application. Let me show what happened. Right click and let's change the name of this main class also with h2. Just one more minute. Let me name the file. Wow. Okay. Right click, run as Java application. Let me check what happened. I just added two dependencies. One dependency for H2 database, another dependency for the data JPA. And you can see it's tried to run application. Let's see. Now it also says something. Now you can see there are lots of logs. Finished Spring Data repository scanning. Okay. Found 0 JPA repository interfaces. See this thing. Found 0 JPA repository interfaces. Okay. I will note it down. You can see Hikari pool starting, added connection, URL, JDBC, something, this, something happened. And it says here, Spring JP Open is enabled by default, therefore database queries may be performed something. Means, my in-memory database is set up. I never do anything else apart from adding the dependencies, and Spring Boot is smart enough to configure everything. That's why I called Spring Boot is a auto configurable. Okay, but I want to see my database. I want to see my database. How I can see it? How I can see it? So if you go to any tutorial, let's say, let me type Spring with H2. Okay, use any of your choice. So we have a URL. I don't want to go here and there. I just want to type the URL. This URL. Okay. I have remembered this thing, but still I want to show you how I get this URL. So I will just type it here. So you can see localhost, my current system name 8080, where it's coming. My Tomcat is running on 8080. Okay, and I want to open a H2 database. So for this we have H2 minus console. Let me try to run, and I think it won't work. Yeah, it's not working. It's not working. Why? Because you added dependencies. It's a good thing. By seeing dependency, Spring Boot does some configuration by default. Again, it's a nice thing. But if you want to use this H2 console, if you want to use this H2 console, you have to enable it. You have to enable it. How we can? We have to set a property. Which property? This property. Yeah. Spring.h2.console.enable true. Let me copy this. But where I should write this property? So we have a magic file is sarc/min/resources application.properties file. This is a magic file. I'm going to put here Control S. Let me stop. Let me start one more time. Why I'm calling this is magic? Because I did something here. I'm telling I want to enable console. That's why spring.h2.console.enable equal to true. You don't need to remember. Don't worry. You don't need to remember. You can copy paste from the internet or you can save it from anywhere. So you can see now logs. You can analyze the log and you can see h2 console available at /this. That's why I use that URL. Now I'm come back and I'm going to refresh. Wow, it's working. H2 is working. Sorry. Wow, it's working. But I want to connect. I want to go inside. For this, it is asking the password. Oh man, I don't have password. So let me check. Console and let me. Yes, you can see database available at this. Okay, I'm calling this. Control C. And I don't. Okay. And user is SA. Okay, and I don't think it expect any password. So let's see without any problem. Let's see. I come back here. I try to connect. Test connection failed. Okay, no worries. Let me give this URL. Test connection failed. Let me give the username SA. Test connection. Wow, test connection passed. That's mean we can connect it. Wow, we are inside the H2 database. It's an in-memory database, means it will exist only until we have running application. If we stop the running application, it will goes. It will lose. It will flush all the data. But still, it's a database, in-memory database. I want to move gradually. So first thing, I don't want to rely on this kind of URL. I want to give my own URL. I want to give my own username. I want to give my own password. So how we can do it? Yes, we can, absolutely we can do it. So come here and we can set the properties for the H2 database, something like that. Copy these properties, copy, and I can mention here. You can see what will be the URL. This will be the URL. So I can change it. I can change it empdb. You can give any name of your database. It's your choice. This is the driver. What will be the username? SA will be the username. You can change it. Or what will be the password? Now password will be used. I will use password. You can change anything. So let me change username as a root, password as a 1234. Save it. Stop it and run it one more time. So here earlier Spring Boot uses these things by default, but now I will override. I will tell your Spring Boot don't use your default but my custom one. So see the console. Now H2 console is available on H2 console. Database URL is this, username is this, and password I have to know only. Let me run again. Refresh. it says ki you stop application and you restart. So we have to continue. Now again, now my URL is, my database URL is this. Control C, Control V, and my username is root. My password is 1234. Connect. Wow, it's not connecting. What is the problem? It's not saved. Hmm. Hmm. Let me try one more time. 1234. So this is my. Sorry, my bad. Let me copy this part only. Control C, C, C. Control A, delete. Control V. Okay. Username is root. Password is 1234. Let's say test connect. Yeah, connection successful. Again, root 1234. Connect. Yeah, I'm inside the database. Wow. No, I don't want to save it. No. So till here we successfully configure H2. But I want to create table. So one way you can create table here by typing the command and all. Another way we can use JPA, Java Persistent API Capabilities. Okay. So what JPA says? JPA says ki you don't need to create any table. You don't need to write any database stuff, query. The only thing, the only thing is that you need to create a Java class and use some JPA related annotations. So it's very easy. Let me show you. We have employee as a model class. Here we have employee as a Java class, but I want to create an employee table in the database. So I will use entity annotation. I will use entity annotation. Why it's not coming entity? Just a minute. Right click, Maven, update, force update. Let me check one more time. Okay. Let me again try add entity. Yeah, now it's coming. Entity. As soon as I declared employee class as entity, it will means Spring Boot, because Spring Boot have JPA capability, Java Persistent API capability. It will see, oh, this is the entity class. That means we need a table corresponding to this class. So by default table name is same as the class name, and all column name have the same name as the column name. But JPA also says every every table must have primary key. A table without primary key cannot be exist inside the JPA. Okay. So I want to make ID as the primary key. The primary key, what is the primary key? The primary key is the attribute by which we can identify a row in a table uniquely. Means primary key should be unique for a row. Okay. So I will make it ID. Add ID. Minimum these two annotation we require to say, oh JPA, you can use this employee class to make a employee table. Okay, Control S. Now let's see again. I'm going to stop application. I think it is stop. Let me check one more time. Refresh. No, it's not running. Yes. Okay. Now run one more time. I only added two annotations. These two annotations on employee. Let me check. Let me see what happened. Yeah, application running fine. You can see this application started in these many seconds. Okay. So it's good to see application is starting. Again, I'm going to run. And my password is 1234. Let's connect. Now you can see we have employee table. Wow. An employee have how many columns? Can anybody tell me? How many columns we
Three.
have? Three.
Three.
ID name salary. Let me click this one and it's write the command. Wow. Wow. Select asterisk from employee. Let me run this. We don't have any data. So can we insert some data? Yes. I can write the query insert into table name employee values. Let me pass few values. Let's say ID should be 101, comma name let's say Musa, and comma salary is something 1234.50. Okay, let me run this application. So run selected. Okay, now I'm going to again run this part. Run selected. Now you can see we have this. Wow. Or you can do something like that. Let's say 102 Lokesh salary, something like that. You can see it's inserted it's very easy. Okay, fine. But again, we don't want to insert data by H2. I want to insert data by API calling. I want to update data by API calling. I want to delete data by API calling. Oh yes, you are right. So what I have to do? Come to the Java code. Now we have employee. Okay. So for JPA we have to I have controller, web as a controller, I have service. Now I'm going to create one more package, repository, interface repository, uh, employee repository, and I should declare this thing as a repository. And this is an interface. See, this is an interface. So focus on this thing. An interface can extend another interface, and we are going to use JPA as repository. And here I will tell the entity name, it is employee, and the type of the primary key ID. The type of the primary key ID is integer, not int. We cannot write int here. Okay, we have to write integer. That's it. Enough. Khatam. Okay. So what next? Yeah. Next is come to the service layer. This is the modification. Earlier we are using list of employee to store this kind of thing. No. Now we are going to use employee repository. Employee repository interface. Employee repository. And it should be auto-wired. and you can see I'm going to modify my service layer completely. To save employee, I will call o employee repository save my employee and return the same. So without writing insert query, you can see without writing insert query, I am able to save my employee into database. I will check it. Update again. For the update, we have same thing. Same thing. Save method will do update also. Delete. We have method delete by ID. You can see delete by ID, and we need to pass ID only. Find one. Find one employee repository and I will call find by ID and I will pass the ID. But the problem is that find by ID returns optional class. Means optional can contain the employee object which is found by its ID. But what happens if there is no employee having this kind of ID? In this case, it will return empty optional. So it will prevent the null pointer exception. Earlier we are returning the null. So if we don't handle null, it will give the null pointer exception. But now it's not returning employee but the optional. Optional is a kind of box. The box may contain an employee object or not. Box may be empty or box have some value present. Find all. Again, very easy. Employee repository dot find all. Yeah. Now things are getting easier. So my application is look like this. Paint. My Spring Boot application is look like this. In Spring Boot, sorry, we have controllers. We have service. We have repository. And this is your complete Spring Boot application. So we divided our code into three parts. This is database. This is database. For now, it's a H2 database or MySQL DB. Okay, it can be any database. And on the other side, we have a client. Client can be web browser, Postman, anything. It can be anything. It's a client. Client will send the request. Client will send the request. So controller uses service. Controller uses service. And service uses repository. Wow. And repository uses database. Repository uses database. And it will give the response back to the client. It's a request and it's a response. Okay, this is the structure. Controller is the layer which manages request and response. Okay, repository is the layer which manages database interaction. Okay, service is the layer which concludes your business logic, your processing logic. Yes, now this part is clear or not? Tell me. We have to divide our Spring Boot application into three parts. Yes or no? Controller will handle request and response. See, all requests come to the controller. Let me open the controller part only. Request will manage by this thing. Request and response is managed by controller. Controller uses service layer to perform business logic, and service layer uses repository to perform database related stuff. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. What is the role of employee repository class?
First, it is interface.
Okay.
First, it is interface, not class. Number one thing, it is an interface. Second thing, it will give so many methods. You can see. Come here. Save method, delete by all, and see lots of methods. Get by ID, get one, count, exist, find by all, save all, delete. So many database related operations. You don't need to write query. I never write insert query to save. I will never write update query to update. I will never write delete query to delete. But these methods are provided by repository.
This
But
is
you can say,
inside method,
you
right?
can say, Mr. Musa, you didn't write any query, didn't write any method here. These methods are coming from where? JPA repository. You can see. They are the method. Okay.
Okay.
So let's see. First, let's see. So let me run this application one more time. Let me stop it. Let me try to run one more time. Sorry. And this is the happy line. Started application in this thing. Okay. Now come back. It will again lost all the things because we just restarted application. I know the password 1234. Connect. You can see we have employee table. We have employee table, but there is no data. But before 5 or 10 minutes, I insert some data. You will say, Mr. Musa, this is embedded database. This is in-memory database. Until your application is running, this database will be available. As soon as you stop your application, this data will be lost. Okay. Okay. This is for testing and learning purpose. It's good. Fine. Let me open the Postman. Postman. Yesterday we used Postman. With the help of Postman, I will hit this URL. Which URL? Controller. And for saving data, I will use post. Let me check. And the good part is or was I saved those URLs yesterday. So here, get all. So let me run this application. Get all. We don't have any data in the database, so it will only return a blank array. It's okay, perfectly okay. Let me save any object. You can see Gita. Let me make it okay. 104. I don't have an issue. Let me send. It says response 200 okay, but I'm not sure whether Gita is saved or not. So one thing I have, I can check from here. Come to the get all and send it, and you can see, yeah, data is coming. But I want to check whether data is stored in the database or not. So I have to go here and I have to run this command. No, Gita is there. Wow. I want to add one more employee. Save 103 Pramila, salary 1500 something. Let's see, send. It says okay. Let me check the database. Run. Now we have two candidates. Again, let me run this application. And wow, we have two objects inside the array. Now I want to update it. No. Gita, the salary is very less. Let me make salary 2000. Okay, and this is the put. It's the same URL. This thing send. It says okay. I don't believe it. Earlier it was 1400. Let me refresh. Run. Now it's 200. It's working fine. So how easy? So step number one. Step number one. Add JPA related capabilities. Step number one. And also mention the database. I'm going to use S2 database. After that, for S2 you have to enable the console, and if you want your URL and your username password, you can write something like this. Step number third, I just changed my employee class by this with this. And step number 4, I create one repository, employee repository, this. And step number 6, I modify my code to use employee repository to make our system like this. Okay, but come back here. You don't want table name employee. You want table name is emp table. Now we have table name same as the class name. Same as the class name. But I want my table name is something else. So how I can use? We have table annotation. We have table annotation. And in this you can see lots of attributes you can found. Catalog, indexes, name, schema, everything. I'm going to use name, and I want to make my table name is emp underscore table, something like that. I want this thing, so I have to stop and I have to restart. Let's check it down. Again, I have to refresh it because server is restarted. We lose all the data. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the good thing is, see the table name. It's changed or it's same as earlier. Table name is changed or not?
Change.
Change.
Yeah, it's changed.
Yeah. Same thing if you want to play with column names. You don't want name but any other name. So you can use column annotation. Column column annotation. And here you can write lots of things. Name, is column is insertable or not. If you tell false, so no one can insert the value. Updatable or not, no one can update value if you set the false. Unique means value should be unique. Okay, something like that. Nullable, will it allow null value or not. Okay, so I'm not going to disturb anything. Length, you have to mention the length. This column have only these length of values, but still I don't want to anything, but I want to change name, emp underscore name. Same thing I want to do with here. I want to change the name is emp salary. Here you can see I want to modify the name of the column. I don't want to rely on a default name. So what I will do again, I have to restart. So it is a pain to restart every time for a minor change. Is there any solution? Yeah, there is a solution. Devtools. Use one more dependency. Use one more dependency. Devtools. Devtools. Okay, and again explore it and only copy the Devtools related stuff. And I can see my Devtools related stuff is here. Dependency to dependency. Dependency to dependency. Control C. Come here. This is the last. Control Shift F. Control S. Just wait for a couple of minutes. And the good part is DevTools is it will use for the development purpose, but when you deploy the application, DevTools won't work. It will disable by default. SpringBoot will disable this thing in the production. So do not worry. You have to add it for your development environment, but you don't need to remove it because once you run the application from the jar or var, SpringBoot will disable the DevTools. Okay, now I'm going to run my application and see the logs. See the logs. Found one JPA repository. Which one? Employee repository. Now everything is working fine. Okay, and you can see live reload server is running. This is from Devtools. Okay, fine. Come here. Come to the H2 database. Refresh. Let me connect one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Connect. You can see column names are changed. Column names are changed. Now I want to change this column name also. So what I will do first, I will copy similar thing and I will give the name employee ID. And you can see it's reload by default. It's reload by default. I never reload it. I just refresh it. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you can see it's changed. And I never reload it. It's automatically reload. How it's reload? How it's reload?
Dependency.
Yeah, with the help of Devtools dependency. Okay, we added Devtools now.
Yeah.
That's why whenever we change it.
Yeah, I have a question. So you change the name equal to something, but we have a getter and setter method also name, salary.
No. These annotations are used by JPA while creating the table. So when JPA will try to create an employee table, it will choose this name. And when it will create a column for ID, it will choose this name. If you don't give these names, it will choose this name by default.
Okay.
While creating database table, this will used. Not for Java code. Java code, it's name, it's salary, it's ID. But for the database column, it will become employee ID employee name, employee salary. Okay.
Yeah.
Class name is employee, but when this class, when there is a, when JPA will try to create a table corresponding to this class, by default it will take the class name until you didn't mention this thing. If you mention this thing, then it will use this name for the class, for the table. Okay. So this is how we can connect with the H2. Now it's turn to connect with the MySQL database. So let's see how many changes we have to do. How many changes we have to do. So I am not going to do in this project, but I will copy this project and rename it Control C, Control V with MySQL. Okay. I just copy this name and paste it. I want to close it. So no confusion. Okay, I have to stop it. Yeah. Now first change, because I just created a copy, so it's my moral duty to change the name here also and change the name here also. This is one change, to create a copy project, and also I will rename the main class name. थक गए थक गए प्रमिला जी?
नहीं, नींद
नींद आ रही है? जाड़े जाड़े होते ही नहीं जैसे हाइबरनेट। मुझे मुझसे पूछिए, सुबह सुबह बिस्तर छोड़ के आता हूँ मैं। ठीक है, just 5 more minutes, and I forget to make this separate package. My repository will go inside the different package, repository package. Yeah, so controller will use controller package, repository will use repository package, service use service package. Fine, but still it's just a duplicate of H2. We are still using H2 database for this application also. If you don't believe, you can run this application and you will see. You will see.
Yeah, we can change also application properties file.
Yeah. For MySQL, we have to connect. We have to do. But I'm telling you, how easy to change the database. If we have existing Oracle or MySQL or H2, and I want to change our database, what things we have to do? You can see. Till now we have H2, but I don't want to H2 anymore. So what things I have to do? What things I have to change in the current existing application? First thing, we have to remove
Name.
H2 dependency.
H2 dependency.
Because we don't want to use this now. Now I want to use
MySQL.
So I will comment it. भाई हो जाओ, क्यों परेशान कर रहे हो? I want to comment it. ठीक है, I just comment it out, but I have to add. So what I will do, I come back to Spring Initializer, close it. I will remove H2 from here, and I will tell MySQL. Let me type MySQL. Wow. I will explore, and I will see. I will try to see. Yeah, this is the dependency. I will copy this thing. Wow. And instead of this, I just comment it out. If you want, you can replace, but I just comment it out and paste this. So now I'm saying, oh Spring Boot, you have to use MySQL database. Spring Boot says, okay sir, fine, but is the problem? Just let me check one more time.
Update. Post update.
Right click, run, post running update. Now it's working fine without any problem. Now we are good to go. But the first change is remove H2 dependency and added MySQL dependency. This is the first change number 1. Second and the last change is come to the property file, magic file here, and we have to remove these many things for the h2 and we have to write these many things for the MySQL. So I know my things because I know the configuration for MySQL in my system. So URL is a JDBC की connectivity MySQL से जो कि रन हो रहा है local host पर और से port number पे 3306 and database name, let me check. Last time we create database Nepal DB, something like that. So I will open HideSQL to check it out. At that time we create Nepal DB something something something. So now I'm going to create a new database. I don't want to disturb this one. Let's say India DB. Okay. You can see we have India DB. Yeah, we have India DB. So I will tell India DB localhost India DB. Fine. And the name of the driver class, I know the name of driver class, com dot mysql dot cj package dot d capital driver package dot d capital driver class. This is the driver class name. What is the password? Root. What is the username? Root. And here MySQL dilate, MySQL 5 dilate and something. So if you are not 100% sure, so what you can do? Come here, delete this thing. Spring with MySQL database. Just pick any one of your choice. If you are not sure, pick any tutorial randomly because we don't want to follow the tutorial but the property file. जबरदस्ती इन्होंने तेज रेंज बताई, प्रॉपर्टी फाइल नहीं बता रहे हैं, बताइए चलो भाई उठो यहाँ से. Yeah, you can see username, password, driver class name, what I did. Okay, they introduce few more things. Let's say this thing I just copy. Use this thing. One thing update I copied, and one more property I copied here. What these are? Every time it will not create table, but it will check if table is already created, it will not create. If table is not created, it will create. Otherwise, it will try to update every time when you run this application in the MySQL. Show SQL, whatever the GPA uses SQLs to connect with the database, it will print it. I, as a Java developer, I don't need to use any SQL, but GPA will use SQLs to create table, to work table, to update, to delete, whatever. So let's see. Let's see whether it's working or not. One more time, right click, run as, clean the project. Run as, install. It will clean install, just 1 more minute. I just demonstrate how to use it. That's done for today. You can see there is a failure. Okay, what kind of failure? suppose I'm not able to understand. So what I will do, I will just delete it. Okay. I will come back here. I will try to run this application and I will get same error. I know that. Let's see.
Problem. Cannot load driver class. com.mysql.cz something.
Yeah, let me check. Let me check and try to find the error. It says it is not able to create a data source. Okay. Now I'm getting there are some data source means something problematic with my application or property file.
Application
So
properties.
com.driver spelling is correct, no? com.mysql. com.mysql. Oh, sorry. Here we have GDBC. This is the correct thing. Let me check one more time. That's why you should try to copy. Yeah, this is the driver class name. So okay, fine. Sometime errors are good. Right click, run as Java application. Let me check it one more time. It's trying to do something. And this time we don't have any logs related to H2 because we are not using any H2 database. Okay. Now the happy line is started this thing. Wow. Let me check. In IndiaDB, let's refresh. You can see, wow, table is created. Wow. So you can see this is the command. This command is run to create a table by the SpringBoot, by the Spring Data JPA. So how this command prints? Because I tell show SQLs in the logs. Clear or not? So whatever it does, it will print there is SQL because I mentioned these things. Although it's not a good thing for the production, but still. So let me run this application one more time. Now I'm going to save.
Post.
Formula G done. Geeta Ji done. But I'm not sure. Let me check. Data. Wow. Wow. Data is coming in the SQL. So you can see it's very easy to migrate one database to another database. How many things I change? Just two things. The pom.xml for the dependency, for the jar, and the properties file. These two changes are needed to change a kind of database to another kind of database. And rest Spring application works fine. How cool. Yes? I'm done.
Yes.